Hi. So in 1998, there was a movie done by the Roland Emmerich. He did such movies as Independence Day, the Stargate movie, movies along those lines. Movies that have a following, are entertaining, but not necessarily good. So the studios approached Mr. Emmerich to do his version of a movie we know and love from a great old series of movies. You misstep aside, Godzilla. And that gave us the 1998 Roland Emmerich Godzilla, which, I think a lot of people know how that one is. That one is not good. That one is pretty crappy. Now, I say this about a lot of stuff. And don't get on me for saying this. I don't hate that one as much as many other people do. I don't like it. I think it's a crap movie for a Godzilla movie. It's not a Godzilla movie. It's just a big old monster movie. But if you take in consideration the fact that it is a big old monster movie, it's a passable monster movie. It is. Grant the whole that's a lot of fish lines still bad, but it's a passable monster movie, just not a good Godzilla movie. Now, it was originally planned for there to be a sequel to that movie. Basically, as we all see at the end, there's an egg that survived, and a little baby Godzilla hatched to go, cuts to the credits and stuff like that. And now it's supposed to be a sequel, where that Godzilla, be kind of more the Godzilla we came to know, where he'd be protecting humanity against other monsters, going to fight on Monster Island, and roar! However, that movie didn't do well, so that sequel was never made. Or was it? See, lo and behold, I was walking through Target, and what did my eye spy but a show from my childhood that I didn't think I would ever be able to, and there goes the cat, think I'd be able to see anytime soon. But there it was, sitting there for $5, the entire animated series of the Fox's Godzilla animated series. Oh yeah, we got the sequel to that movie as an animated television show, half-hour long. And you know what? As a half-hour-long show, 1.5 hour-long show kicks the crap out of that movie. This show rocked in my mind. It had a very similar style to the Men in Black animated show that was animated series that was going on at the same time. It carried over actually a couple of the actors from the original movie. The guy who played Hicks, Kevin Dunn, did the voice for Major Hicks. 1 second. I believe Malcolm Danner, who did play the guy who was sneezing and stuff like that, and basically the red-haired girl, Elsie Chapman's assistant, he came back, and I think he did the voice for his character, Mendel Craven. And then, but then we got new characters and stuff like that, new actors play Nick, Elsie Chapman, and then we got a few more characters like Monique, who was the French agent who Philippe, the guy from the French guy, I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, the French guy from the original movie, basically worked under him. And, she was there to monitor Godzilla and any other mutations that popped up. And then we had Randy Hernandez, who was the tech guy. He was the hacker and stuff like that. He was an intern working under Nick, and he was the very comic relief kind of guy. And then Mendel, I forgot to mention, has his little robot helper, Nigel, who the gimmick of that was he was destroyed basically every fucking episode. And we'd actually look forward to seeing Nigel get destroyed in fun, new, creative ways. And, yeah. And, we'd actually be disappointed when he wasn't destroyed. Like, oh, I want to see him get destroyed. So that was and the beauty of that show is that it was what we wanted the Godzilla to be. It was Godzilla going about fighting the monsters, protecting the world, more or less. He was basically the Godzilla we came to know, just incarnated into the physical body of the Godzilla we came to hate. It was a very touch and go thing a little bit, but I honestly enjoyed the show, and many fans really enjoyed this show. I've looked up reviews on it before that fans responded far better to this show than they did the Godzilla the Animated, the Godzilla movie. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that it really was more just, it's a basic formula. The gang has, witty banter. There's a problem. There's probably a monster or mutation. Godzilla goes to try to fight it. Godzilla maybe has trouble fighting it. They find a creative way to stop it. And, Godzilla comes in, saves the day again. And you know what? It's a basic formula that works because we were turning in for it. Now, unfortunately, as I actually have I actually have like the page up here on most of the basic information and some of the more specific information, including episodes and descriptions. And unfortunately, because in reception, it was really well received. But unfortunately, it came in at a time on Fox where the goddamn war between Fox and WB's Pokemon and the Digimon war was going on, and seeing who's going to outdo the other. And, it got lost in the fray, unfortunately. So it really only got 2 seasons, which sucks. Because it did not end, really. We had like a season finale, kind of, and that was it. We didn't get like a coherent ending to the series or anything like that. It was clearly you could see that it was intended to continue on, but unfortunately it got lost in the fray between the other more high-profile shows, and that sucks because I would have loved to continue watching Godzilla. If the series had continued going on to later years, at least another year or two, and get more funds in. I'd like to see a better don't get me wrong, the animation is still pretty good. The animation was quick-paced and fun. Some of the animation was a little stiff at points, but I think that's just the design at the time. Because of the 90s, it definitely had a feel similar to the Men in Black cartoon that was on at the time. But I would love to have seen what they could have done with a bit more money, a bit more budget, and more animation. Because the intro's got one of those great just beats to it, just bum, bada bum, bum, bada bum, 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 bum. I could have played it right. I could have honestly played it, but I'm not going to right now. It's late. It's like 3 in the morning right now. I'm doing this review, but in every actual series, the animation in the intro is better than the animation in the movie. It's far darker tone and very cleaned and very detailed in comparison to the actual show animation, which was still fine for the time. So I mean, yeah, it's just one of those shows that kind of slips under, I think, a lot of people's radar, but it's really a fun show. I enjoyed it immensely. Well, the plot picks up is a direct sequel to the Godzilla movie that we did not like. It picks up immediately after the events. They go find the egg. The baby Godzilla actually ends up imprinting on Nick Totopoulos. So it basically believes it to be its parent. And so it protects him. It goes to him, and it bonds with him and stuff like that over the course of the series. And a lot of the other team comes to, bond with Godzilla in their own kind of way, too. Most of them. Some of them are just, there to complain and be like, oh, I can't do this, and stuff like that. But that's part of the charm of the character. And that we get like, Mendel, he constantly just got allergies and shit like that. And he's like, I don't want to be doing this. I really don't. He's the coward. And yet we see in some other interpretations a future version of him as a total badass, apparently. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought there because I'm reliving the show here for a moment in my mind. But, no, yeah, and so it's basically Godzilla fighting mutations, and we got mutations. I always love seeing the different mutations. That was one of the best parts of the show, was what's Godzilla fighting next? The first episode of the series was he fought this, what they dubbed Crustacean Rex, or Crustaceous Rex, which is basically like this giant squid monster thing that fed on tar. And its tar basically absorbed like amino acids and stuff like that out of things, and it fed on the amino acid rich tar. So it was like trapping people and animals in tar, and then sucking out the the energy from them. Another episode they fight just going by here, they fight like giant rats. And then when they fight the Loch Ness, or they had the Loch Ness monster, that's one of my favorite episodes where they go find Nessie. Nessie's like a mosasaur, and she's actually got a baby and stuff like that, and Godzilla actually helps them get the baby back. And it shows like Godzilla's more of a complex character than just the monster. Another one that I love is the one with the that has fucking not just Godzilla in Japan, because they go to Japan, but King Kong and Mechagodzilla at the same time, all rolled into one. What happens is there's a giant fucking king cobra that's like capturing people, and it doesn't spit venom, it spits like glue that traps people, and it's gonna like stock up for the winter. And this giant gorilla comes, and we think that's the villain at first. Turns out it's Cobra, and it starts fighting Godzilla, and then Godzilla burns the flesh away. It's a robot, and they fight the Cobra, and it gets destroyed by the Cobra, but then Godzilla beats up the Cobra. But I'm like, that's fucking classic Godzilla rolled into one, messing with Mecha Godzilla and King Kong. Oh my god, the homages. And then we get in some weirder things, like they go into the future at one point because there's a time vortex, and they see that there's these genetically created creatures that are like over on the Earth and stuff like that in the future, and then they got to stop it in the past. So another, like the third episode in is like something similar to like the Blob, except it's like a nanotechnology that's used to eat like inorganic stuff, and that was interesting. I mean, not quite what I was hoping for I'm like, whatever. And another thing, like giant hummingbirds. There's like this fucking giant turtle. And there's a shrew tornado in one episode. I can't make this shit up. And yet it's still entertaining and fun. They're actually talking legitimate science terminology in this show that makes sense on many levels. Like there's one fight between Godzilla and like a flying ice breathing manta ray, and the fire and the ice clash, and immediately it creates like this thunderstorm effect because of the massive decrease and increase in pressure and stuff like that. It's just creating thunderstorms and stuff like that, and it's just it's majorly taxing on the environment because of that. There's another one where they're fighting a. Just give me 1 second here as I get the information up. They're fighting like giant black widow spiders at one point, and it apparently there's a flower they're toxic, or a flower has a toxic effect on the spiders and it paralyzes them. So they basically find that out and basically make a bomb out of that. Excuse me 1 second. And that's how that goes. And then one of the subplots, which I think they would have revisited at one point, was there was aliens. Aliens were involved. They basically were crash landed on Earth millions of years ago. Their ship was under the sea, but then they got defeated, but then they didn't, and they come back and there's an invasion, and that's when the fucking all-out war of monsters happens. And that's when it got like, in terms of, I guess, how the level of this show was going, the oh crap, this is happening moment where the aliens built the old Godzilla that died into a cyborg. And it turned him into a cyborg. Had the new Godzilla team up with him for a while until he broke control of the alien mind control and fought his dad. And it's like, holy crap, this shit's going down. But we still get nods to the original Godzilla series as well, like the original Japan series, where the Monster Island does exist in this series. It's basically where all the mutations basically are kept for research and study, and we see basically like in a found footage kind of way how this happens, or how this place came to exist, and what happens in that episode where shit nearly goes south. So it usually goes to pot in that game, in that movie. But also, one of the defining features of the of the show, first off, was Godzilla. Godzilla was the thing we always came back to see, and Godzilla is actually really likable. He's actually got a personality that you like to him a little bit. He's kind of he's young. He's very playful at actual points too. You can see where he's kind of just kind of having fun with some of the other characters. At the same time, we come back for these characters because, yeah, they're cardboard cutouts, especially looking at it again, rewatching them again. But they're fun for what they are. I like Randy. I like the fact he's spouting pop culture references of the time of movies I liked. Mendel, for all his wimpiness, he still gets the job done. He still does his best for his teammates and friends, and I like that. Elsie's, well, she's snarky, and she kind of has a thing for Nick, which is another thing. This is another thing I respect for like 90s animation and stuff, or 90s series and stuff like that some of these later series kind of don't do. Like, especially on Cartoon Network with characters, they have the balls to talk about people in relationships, have them have adult conversations, like why they're, like with Nick and his girlfriend, 1 second there, what was her name? Crap. Audrey. Nick and his girlfriend, they have issues with their relationship. They actually have to talk about the fact that she can't go around just reporting on everything he tells her about, and, how their work affects their relationship. It's like, oh my god, it's an adult kind of theme that, was played up well enough for the kids to understand. That, it's hard to balance this shit. Animal was still there. He was this, he was the snarky, hey, I'm from Brooklyn kind of thing. He was fine for what he was. But relationships, that's one thing. Randy has this crush on Monique, and Mendel actually has a crush on Elsie. And that's the thing, though. It's hinted throughout the thing that Elsie slowly comes over to, like in Mendel. But we never get any final payoff on that, unless you count the final episode, which is, basically, they have to save Godzilla, who got kidnapped by, like, some gladiatorial guy, who's voiced by Clancy Brown, might I add. Voiced by Lex Luthor himself. Which I'm like, you know what? I will take Clancy Brown voicing anything. Mr. Krabs, take it. Lex Luthor, take it. This guy, take it. And, they hint that maybe Randy and Monique could have had something, but, series ended. Well, series got canceled, so it sucks, because I really liked the whole continued on with this. What can you do? I mean, the series wasn't perfect. I mean, it had its standard flaws, like, these characters. They kept reusing the same audio for Nick when he kept saying, "Go, go, go! Move, move, move! Godzilla!" They kept reusing that audio a lot. I could tell they were reusing that audio a good amount of time. But, that's minor stuff. That's minor stuff you notice years later after watching it again. I mean, the animation, it's fine for 90s animation. It's really good for 90s animation. Now, for animation at this point in time, it's maybe a little dated, but, what are you going to do? So, all in all, I love this series. I really do. This is one of those nostalgia stuff for me. I can't recommend this series enough. If you liked... Okay, let me rephrase that. If you didn't like 1998 Godzilla, and you want something more akin to the regular Godzilla, but you want to give that a shot, like, with those characters, I would definitely recommend you watching it. If you want, like, a fun kind of just half-hour short romp, where you're monsters fighting monsters, science stuff, yeah, we're going to do science, the Science Brothers, yeah, absolutely, I recommend you watching it. And if you like just 90s kid shows in general from that time, I'd recommend you give it a watch. I believe you can actually find it on Netflix. Hold on one second. Actually, they did say at the bottom how this is going on. So, you first off, you can find it on DVD. That's because that's how I got it. But you can also find it as of October 2010. The entire series is available on Netflix instant stream service. So that means that that's up 2010. So I can't guarantee it's still on there, but if it is, give it a watch. Give an episode or two a watch. I mean, you might be pleasantly surprised. Now, you might not like it, and that's your choice, absolutely. But I like this series a lot. This was a fun series for me growing up. It's still a fun series for me now. I still have so much fun rewatching those episodes. I'll have fun rewatching them again at some other point in time. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put it in the comments below. Let us know. I'll have movie news up tomorrow because I'll be going back on set for the next Saturday and Sunday. And I may have a few trailer reactions up as well. I can't guarantee that. It'll all depend on what comes out tomorrow for trailers before I decide on if I do trailer reactions. But I'm probably going to maybe have a trailer reaction up. So I'll have movie news and trailer reactions up tomorrow. And as for next week, I will be seeing Focus, the new Will Smith and Margot Robbie movie about con artists, coming out next week. And I'm, for a February movie, besides Kingsman, looks like the best February movie we're getting this February. So here's hoping. So thanks for watching. See you next time.